Study out of Britain on high-risk patients who had already had heart attacks found that those told to eat saturated fats had a much better outcome, lived longer than those who were told to eat polyunsaturated or monounsaturated oils. And recent epidemiological evidence out of Europe indicates that those countries with the lowest saturated fat consumption have relatively high rates of heart disease, while those countries with the highest rate of saturated fat consumption have low rates of heart disease. And we have copious evidence that the substitutes for saturated fats, starting with the polyunsaturated cooking oils and salad oils, actually contribute to cancer and heart disease. They are very aging, and particularly with children, they impair growth and can lead to various types of damage. These oils tend to be rancid, and they're full of free radicals, which cause unpredictable types of damage in the body. And the partially hydrogenated fats, the trans fats, also are what are used when people are trying to avoid saturated fats. They end up eating polyunsaturated oils or the trans fats in partially hydrogenated oils. These two are a big liability, contributing to cancer, heart disease, and many other conditions, including learning disabilities, failure to grow, low birth weight babies. So our biggest concern is the effects that these industrial fats and oils have on growing children. In a nutshell, the polyunsaturated oils cause uncontrolled reactions in the body. The partially hydrogenated oils inhibit reactions in the body. They inhibit enzymes, receptors, hormone production, and so forth. And the result is biochemical chaos on the cellular level. Our government has finally admitted that trans fats are bad at any level of the diet. They insist that we've solved this problem, that we've gotten them out of our diet, but that is not correct. There's still plenty of trans fats in our diet. And they are also saying they are just as bad as saturated fats. So the saturated fats are being tarred with the black brush of the trans fats, whereas in fact the saturated fats have the opposite reaction of the trans fats, and they are good reactions. They suppress inflammation, they enhance hormone production, they enhance receptors and so forth in the body, whereas trans fats do the opposite. The demonization of butter continues, and the public is largely unaware of the many good things in butter, critical fat-soluble vitamins, which are very lacking in the diet today, important minerals, and a wonderful profile of fatty acids, just the exact profile that our bodies need. As butter consumption in this country has plummeted, cancer and heart disease have soared. You can't prove with epidemiology what causes something, but you can sure prove what doesn't cause something. And we know for sure that butter is not the cause of the epidemic of cancer and heart disease that we're seeing in this country. What has happened with the dietary guidelines is they preach a kind of low-fat, high-fiber, low-salt, puritanical diet that is impossible to eat. We have cravings for these kinds of foods because we need these foods. We need saturated fats, we need salt in the diet. And people try to go on this puritanical diet and they just can't stay on it. And the result is that people end up eating what I call the pornographic foods. And this happens in schools as well. They get the puritanical lunch, and then 2 o'clock in the afternoon, these starving children are at the vending machines eating pornographic foods. Why not just feed our children, feed everybody good, rich, nourishing, nutritious foods that our ancestors ate? And what this has translated to in the school lunches is sugar, sugar everywhere. There's restrictions on fat, but no restrictions on sugar. The children don't like the low-fat milks that they are served, so they choose flavored milks, which have been called soda in drag. Fruit, we're supposed to get more fruit into school lunches. Well, the fruit usually comes in fruit cups loaded with sugary syrup. Breakfast pastries and cereals, cookies, fruit juice, prepared foods. So basically what's happening, our starving children are trying to fill the gap by not getting enough of the right types of high-fat foods with high-sugar foods. And just to show you, these flavored milks are just as high in sugar, usually high fructose corn syrup, as sodas. So that's why they're called sodas and drag. As our experts here will testify, the dietary guidelines have led to an increase in obesity, the very problem that they were supposed to correct. Our dietary guidelines propose 4 food groups. Number 1 is animal foods, and that includes dairy foods. For vegetarians, dairy foods and eggs are the way to go. We're not saying that you have to eat meat, but we are saying that a healthy diet must include some animal foods, such as eggs and dairy foods. A second category is grains, legumes, and nuts. We've put legumes where they belong. They are a plant food. They should not be considered as a substitute for meat. The third category, vegetables and fruits. And the fourth category, healthy fats and oils, including meat fats, egg yolks, cream, butter, coconut oil, palm oil, the stable fats and oils that traditional cultures have used for thousands and thousands of years and remained in good health. In summary, traditional diets put a tremendous emphasis on maximizing the nutrients in the diet, whereas modern diets put an emphasis on shelf life, convenience, processing, and all of this minimizes the nutrients in the diet. So in order to solve our health crisis, first and foremost, we must go back to nutrient-dense foods. And the great hurdle to that is the fear of cholesterol, saturated fat, and salt. So that's one of the main goals of the Weston A. Price Foundation, to teach people that they do not need to be afraid of these foods. We do not think we're not under no illusions that we are going to change these dietary guidelines, change USDA. But what we hope to do through this press conference, and through all of our work, is to at least convince parents to make their children's school lunches. That's the first thing that parents can do. And we have plenty of guidelines for you to do that in our dietary guidelines and on our website.